cats. Potatoes rain from the sky, rainbow beams and laser beams. I'm a disco cheese bean party, buttercream cupcake cookie queen. Disco dancing llamas everywhere. Extra beans with cheese and extra fries and hamburger. Tacos raining from the sky. Don't even ask why. Because I can fly. Goodbye, 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 goodbye. Oh wait, hello.
Hello, you sexy badgers. How's everybody doing? Happy, I was going to say Friday then. It's not Friday, is it? Goodness me. Saturday. Why's my head cut off? Have I got taller or something? Or do I normally just slouch in the chair? Hang on. Let's readjust. I wish this microphone wasn't in the way. It's like trying to move around this damn thing. How's everyone doing? Yeah, that song is just kind of stuck, really. So ridiculous. Courtesy of my son. Right. Today, we're gonna do some photo manipulation, and yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I'm feeling I got like I don't know. I'm feeling like very inspired by like a lot of Asian stuff at the moment, design culture, particularly Japanese stuff. So this will probably come as no surprise that there will be a samurai in this, and we're going to try and do something really cool. I'm thinking sunset. We're going to go dramatic highlights and everything. I've got a bunch of images that we're going to be using. So I've got loads of different landscapes. I don't actually know which direction. Oh, there that thing is. I was looking for that. I'll explain that in a sec. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do with this, but there is an image that I absolutely love. So let me just show you what I'm waffling on about. So basically, I was looking across Adobe stock and I was like, okay, well, what can I find that would look pretty cool that I could kind of work with? And I found this. Love this sort of illustration style. I love the pose. I love the curved kind of, almost like it's like a fisheye lens on the landscape. I just love it. The flipping sunset. And I was thinking, oh, how cool would this look if it was like realistic? And then I was like, oh, okay, well, let's look at images of samurai. Now, going through all the different images of samurai, the chance that you're going to find a samurai with this exact pose, I can't tell you what it is. Like even I'm so particular about the designs of things, even the pose, the way the hand is away from the body slightly, the way he's standing with both feet kind of poised almost in front of each other, the way the sword comes out, the way the cloak just kind of, or the whatever it is, the samurai armor just kind of fills this space and flows and blows in the wind. Even his posture. You try and find a stock image that matches exactly that, and you will be spending a long, long time doing it. So this is where I love using AI, because if I just show you what I've done, in about, I think it was 15 minutes, maybe less than that, I'd got the exact samurai I wanted, same pose, same everything, but it's like a flat image. So it did generate all this stuff. I don't want that. I just kind of want like a stock photo. So I asked it to get rid of the background, and then I just tweaked the prompts until I got this exact pose. And this is like a good base that I can then go and build on. So that is one area where I love using it. All the other images that I've got, I think these are all just real photos. So we're going to try and comp all this together. And effectively, I want to try and do a photorealistic version of this. That is the plan. So we're going to copy this into my standard 3:4 format. And I'm going to try and position this and size it up, and then we'll come back to it at the end and see how close it is. Yeah, so we're going to have this like framing the bottom. Oh dear me, my tablet is like so dusty. Hang on. Let's grab something on the desk. What's that? Is that a t-shirt? No, that's a pair of boxers. Obviously it is on my desk. Andrea, shut up. Right, we're just gonna give that a clean. There we go. Can't work with a dusty tablet. Look, my desk is black and it gets really dusty, and then the cat jumps up here and it gets furry, and it's just, it all falls apart really. Right. Andrea, I feel like I've not spoke to you for ages. In reality, it's probably been like a day. I think we spoke yesterday, actually. Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, I don't know. Position-wise, we'll maybe put him about here. We're going to have some landscape. Maybe I'll move the sun up so it kind of fills this space a bit. Kind of almost like, I don't know, video game, movie artwork, something like that. Could be a poster. But I just love that pose. I saw that pose and I was like, that is an amazing pose. So we're going to start with that. That's going to be the reference. We'll drop the opacity down and we'll just kind of lock that and see if we can build something on top of that. That's the plan anyway. Wish me luck. If anyone's got any questions as we go through this, by the way, just shout them out. Right, let's get some music on. First of all, let's grab Monsieur Samurai. I wasn't sure about the stag antlers, but then I do kind of like them. I kind of like them, and they will catch the highlights really nicely as well. So first of all, as always, you've got the 4-step process. We're just going to compose the scene. No effects, no fancy schmancy yet. We're just going to select subject. Hopefully get a cutout instantly. Of course we are. Of course we are. There we go. Then we have the samurai. Oh, look at that. I mean, I love that. And it's pretty good, actually. When you look at the details, it's actually done a pretty insane job in terms of detail. We can add some texture and sharpen certain bits up, but just checking, he's not got 17 fingers or anything weird. Sword's alright. The blade looks a bit dull, but we could change that. We could even add in our own katana or a different weapon. You could add like a glaive or some sort of what's the other weapon? A naginata, the big scythe kind of thing. You know, so this is more detailed than it used to be. This is Nano Banana 2, by the way. So even the texture on this is getting better. It's getting better. These are my 2 red lines when it comes to AI. Like, it has to be my creativity and my idea. Like, I'm fine generating stock assets as long as the artwork isn't done for me. That's just boring. And the quality's got to be amazing. So if what it generates is just garbage and I can't use it, it's a no-go. As long as those 2 things are met, I'm fine. You look fresh, Dan. Thank you, Andrea. That's very kind of you. Fresh as a feckin' daisy. Right, samurai positioned. That's the easy bit. Now we've got to try and figure out the landscape. It would be harder but more interesting to have one that doesn't have a sun and to add my own sun in. We might have to create that. And we could build the background as well. This one could be quite a good base with the grass. Let's try it. Let's try it. We'll give it a go. I've got to make sure the angles match as well. Yeah, so what happens if we warp this? Does it look really silly? So kind of like the reference, it's sort of a little bit higher on the left side. Obviously we're warping the horizon as well. So do we want to... We don't want to warp the horizon, but we do want to warp the land, because we can make the land uneven and follow that shape. So we're just quick selecting. Honestly, these selection tools in Photoshop are so flipping good now. Quick selection and select subject is just amazing. Yeah, so that could work, and then we'd have to have our horizon straight. You have to stop being like this. The last 3 times I've had a creative block and you're streaming. Is that a good thing? Oh yeah, a creative block is annoying. Always at the worst time as well, isn't it? Oh, what's that? You've got a deadline. Ha! Have fun not getting any ideas. Right, let's throw this together. Oh, flipping heck, that actually works annoyingly well. Oh, I mean, if we can get the lake in there, oh, that would look so good. Might be trickier, but we might be able to do like a reflection of whatever we make and then put it in the water. The biggest challenge with this, though, would be all of the highlights and sunset craziness. So even if you just have like, if we just did 2 or 3 images and threw a sun in there, that wouldn't be very complex from a compositing point of view, but it kind of would, because then we've got to nail the shadows and the highlights and everything. Otherwise, it will look trash, and we don't want that. God, I think I really like that. There's a weird balance around this as well. Like you see here on the left, we're kind of higher up here, and then a bit lower here. But then on the other image, we're kind of a bit higher up, but then a bit lower here. So they're sort of opposites, and it almost, to me, it feels like it balances everything out. Yeah, I think it looks cool. I did envisage him being a bit higher up. Thank you. I mean, let's chuck in a circle. There we go. We're going to have a black sun. Put it dead center. Something like that. Be cool if we could make it red as well, because it'd be kind of like the Japanese flag a little bit. And this reference as well that you saw me waffle on about at the beginning. I love this style, and this is very like sort of greeny greys, blacks, reds. This color up here that I'm not entirely sure what it is. Faded salmon. I love these colors. So if I could maybe get the color of whatever I do looking like this, that would be really nice. And it would make me super happy. So maybe. That would be really cool. I think I've said this before. Sometimes the composition like this comes together super fast, and sometimes it takes 2 hours. This is cool because if I can nail this as quick as it's seeming to be going, we can actually spend more time on the hard part. Moosh, mooshy moosh. I haven't got a ding dong gong in proximity, I'm afraid. So ding dong it. I don't know if you can hear that. I think my mic cuts off. My mic has like a denoiser thing, and Poppy just is detected as noise. Poppy, if you can't hear, she's ringing bells and dinging ding dongs and all sorts, moosh. In your honor. Very Hokusai. What on earth is Hokusai? I have no idea. Not very cultured when it comes to Japan, but hopefully we're going to Japan and Korea this year.
We are going, not hope.
Just put a little caveat in there. Oh, is that an art style? Oh yeah, I've seen it, but I didn't know what the name was. Thank you. I learned something today. Yeah, I'm really excited about it. I've always wanted to go to Japan. Actually, that's not true. I've not always wanted to go, but in the last few years, I've just really felt that pull, and I just can't wait. I can't wait. Oh, that's one guy. Right. I thought that was a style. Okay, interesting. I like this actually. This is I might actually just start with this. I love it. I don't know if it needs anything else. Warriors World, hey, how's it going? Taiwan this year, and it was life-changing. When you go, Taiwan. Do you know, I'd not thought of that. Okay, here's why was Taiwan so good then? What was it about Taiwan? Because we did Korea in April, and I would say that was kind of life-changing. It was amazing, but it was very eye-opening. That's how I'd describe it. It's very like, oh my God, what a lovely place. What a safe, clean, lovely place full of lovely people. And then it's hard not to contrast that with other places and go, I like this. Right, we'll call this mountains. Let's get to it. What's this? We'll just call it grass. Call you sun for now. Food. There's so much food. Very nice people and culture. Night markets. Very easy to navigate. Beautiful scenery. Very cheap. I mean, what's not to love about that? Sounds flippin' amazing. Right. First of all, now we've got to do... right. Step one, we've composed everything. This is always the way that I do it. Now we're going to balance our exposure, which weirdly kind of looks okay, actually. Maybe that's why everything sort of sits together quite well. Maybe a couple tiny adjustments. So we want to balance the shadows, midtones, and highlights between our images. So let's get rid of sun for a second. So the samurai's got a bit more contrast. So I think what I'm going to do is we'll do the mountains. How are we going to do this? Yeah, we're going to go curves. We're going to click this. This is a much easier way of doing it. Pick the darkest part. So it's like these trees here, I think. And we'll pull that down to darken them. And then we'll push the highlights up a bit. You see what this does? If I turn it off and on. A little bit more washed out. Fits the samurai a little bit better. So we're doing this without any color because it makes it easier to identify where the exposure's off. Try doing it with color, it's a nightmare. Curves again, we'll clip it to the grass. So now we're going to do the same again. We're just going to darken the grass in some places, push the highlights a bit. So to get a bit more contrast, just a subtle S curve, that will usually do it. So you can see there's not a lot in it. It's very close already, which is good. Sometimes you get images that are wildly off. This bit then has a bit more of an impact. But I think we're pretty good. Now we've got to do the color. Now, the main, we want to like take the main light source because we've got this sunset, we've got the orange in the mountains here. We want to take the main like predominant light source. That's going to impact everything else. So the green grass here, we need to make this match all of this a bit more. Oh, a few different ways we could do this. Hue saturation. We could try doing that. Why is this going so well today? This is it's too easy. Not that it doesn't normally go well, but it's yeah, okay, there we go. Maybe we can dig into some of these parts as well. So if we go and zoom in, we've got a bit more green there, but we could grab these and oh no, that's saturation. So click this hand icon, hold Command or Control, then adjust, and it will adjust just the hue. I don't know if I can isolate them specifically though. Might be a little bit close. So what I'm going to do actually is we could leave them like that with a bit of green. We've got some green over here. Let's see if we want to change that actually. We could change that. Let's grab our green and adjust the colors. Sometimes it's not on the channel you would think it's on. So maybe we could do that. And then just brush some of it away. Get back that lovely yellow tone. Let's just have a look at that. Yeah, I think I prefer that. We're just going a little bit more yellowy than green. That's kind of cool. Is it? Maybe. Oh, I don't know actually. I think so. I think I might just remove that from the lake. Yeah, there we go. It was the color of the lake that I didn't really like. Nice. They have cat cafes. I mean, yeah, come on. That's it. Hey, Kelby. Still waiting for the blend. I can't do a good blending object. Okay, what do you mean by blending object? Do you mean like compositing? In terms of making, like, obviously in this example, the samurai here look like he fits in the scene. Because we're just doing step 3, balancing color. Step 4 is going to be shadows, and you'll see a huge difference when we come to that. Actually, I'll show you a good technique for this one. I think as well, actually, I probably shouldn't focus on the color too much, because we might do the thing I showed you a minute ago with the red and the colors. Right, let's group everything into folders. We'll start as we mean to go on and keep everything organized. We've got our sun that we'll come back to in a sec. Samurai. So this is steps 1 to 3. Step 4 is where it all starts to come together, and then the steps 5, 6, 7, 8 after are where the magic happens. That's my exposure checker. Keep that there. What? Why? I bought pasta the other day. It'll be somewhere in a bag. 100% I bought pasta. Or... Yes, yeah, I bought pasta! Otherwise I've gone mental. Which is entirely possible. Andrea, shut up. If it was me, I would experiment, like make the mountain layer use average blur, then try between... We're not at blending modes yet. This is the mistake I made for quite a long time, is I would composite with blending modes, but unfortunately they bring transparency into play. So never use a blending mode to try and put a person or a thing in the scene, because otherwise you get transparency. They're brilliant for effects and things, and we'll get onto that. Yeah, we'll do blending now. Oh yeah, 100%. 100%. Photoshop and all the other design tools are still essential. The reason that they're essential is, even though people are now designing stuff with AI, if you don't know what good design does or doesn't look like, you're capped. You're only ever going to make something mediocre. You know, AI, Photoshop, Illustrator, it's tools, but being able to look at something like this and understand balance and composition and layout, that's the secret sauce. So if you're getting into art, design, whatever, study that sort of stuff. Learn the tools by all means, but that's what's going to set people apart. You could give me an AI and someone else an AI and say, do a flyer. The person with no design experience is always going to create something that is not going to be as good because they don't know what good design looks like. They won't know what to prompt it to change this or change that. Whereas with someone with experience, they will. Color mixer. Yeah, which one's the color mixer? Oh, channel mixer. Right. I never use that. I never used that, and that still confuses the hell out of me. I'm sure it's very good for certain things, but I always avoid it because it just makes my brain hurt. I've watched videos on it and all sorts, but I struggle to use it. And I find that I can get whatever I need without it as well. So maybe that's one I need to work on. Oh, sorry. Did you mean this one? Adjustments, shadows and highlights. Yeah, this used to be destructive. Have they changed this now? I swear that used to be destructive and you couldn't add it on smart filters. Unless I've gone bonkers, which is also entirely possible. I swear you couldn't do that before. Color balance. Yeah, we'll do color balance as well. Yeah. We could do that on the grass actually as well, you know. So color balance lets you adjust the colors inside the shadows, midtones and highlights. So if we go here on the grass, you can see we've got loads of this sort of medium gray color. So that's the midtones. If we then change that, the grass will become more yellow. So, ooh, actually, yeah, good shout. You see, you get a different result. That's actually, I think that's a better result, if I'm honest. Nice. This is what I would normally use. I just went to hue saturation because I thought that'd be a quick win. This is giving me a much nicer result. So the shadows, that's going to be these darker parts. So if we... Oh, okay. I think because there's not a lot of contrast between the shadows and the midtones, it is affecting everything, which is what it is. Let's try highlights. Oh, okay. I think, yeah, the reason it's affecting everything is because the shadows here, they're not particularly dark and the highlights aren't particularly bright. So it's all kind of playing around in the middle. In fact, we can check that if I grab the color picker. You see me moving around here? You see where this is going? It's not going right at the bottom, unless you go over there, but it's not going right at the top either. In fact, it's not going anywhere near the top. So there aren't really many highlights in this image. Let's do the same thing actually. Let's do the same thing for the other image and see what we get just before we charge head on into it. Yeah, that does. Oh, that gives some beautiful color. Wow, yeah. Oh, I'm really glad you mentioned that because I probably would have just carried on. Oh, brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Love it. Yeah, let's get rid of those two. Oh, yeah, that's nice. Right, the only other thing is the samurai now because he doesn't look. He looks completely out of place. He should be a lot warmer. So, we could do color balance. Color lookup might be a fun one to try because we've got the warm thing. I don't know if. No, we don't. It looks alright. We don't have a lot of control though. Color lookup is kind of like profiles. It was destructive. Yeah, I thought it was because I've always wanted this option here, match color. I think we've got harmonized now, which is the AI feature that does that. But match color has never been non-destructive, and I swear that used to be as well. So I like that. Yeah, color balance and curves. Sometimes I use exposure, but curves is better because you get a bit more control. So we'll do color balance on Monsieur Samurai as well. We'll add a clipping mask so everything only affects the samurai, and then we'll try and... Yeah, I mean, look at the difference already. Boom. We don't have to dive too far into this, but already you can see that's looking pretty good as a starting point. All of this is fully adjustable. So these adjustment layers, these smart objects, everything's fully adjustable, flexible, which is exactly what we want. Yeah, you do. You're right. You've got to rasterize it to get match color. And for me, it's just not worth the trade-off. I want to try something now, though, because this could be quite interesting. I don't know if I want to use it. It's one of those AI features that I'm a little bit like, is this doing it for me? But we'll see. So I'm just going to paste a flat version of our samurai. We'll cut him out. Even if I don't use it, though, this can be very good if you're trying to figure out where the shadows go. Because sometimes it's like, oh, like, okay, he's got his feet here. What shape is the shadow being cast? Especially if you've got something like a monster or a spider with loads of legs or tentacles. Like, trying to figure out the shadows can be a bit of a head duck. So we'll harmonize it. See what it does with the shadows. Replace color. Where's that? Is that in the image menu? Because I don't really use that one much. I probably should. How do you spend your weekdays, Dansky? Doing loads of stuff, really. At the minute, I'm doing some contract work for Adobe, and I'm working as an audience support specialist, which is nice. It's lovely because I get to basically provide support to everybody, which is lush. Oh, you've not done the shadows. That's a damn shame. Yeah, so I do that. I create my own artwork. I work on projects if I've got any. I can't always take on projects. Supporting my students. Essentially, a lot of what I'm doing at the minute is supporting creatives and designers, beginners, professionals, and I'm very blessed, really, that I get to do that. I get to spend a lot of time doing that, and I love it.
And you spend lots of time with us.
And I get to spend lots of time with Pops and the boys. Yeah, I was hoping it would do a shadow down there, but that's no problem. Do I try it again? We'll give it one more go. If it doesn't, then. Oh, hang on, unless it needs a background. Like a flattened background. We'll try it. Do you have your own agency or work in a company as a freelancer? I've got my own business. I've had that for 16 years. I used to freelance, like that was what I did. Like I quit my full-time job in 2014, I freelanced. But then it got to a point late 2017 where I couldn't commit to client work and YouTube videos and that side of things. I had to make the choice, and I chose the education side. I was hoping it would generate the shadow here, and then we could use that as a reference. Sometimes it does. I will just try one more thing before I give up and wave the white flag. But yeah, no, I went the education route. Yeah, nearly 10 years ago. I appreciate your choice. Thank you. I do as well. It's very rewarding. And I think as time's gone on as well, it's just helped me to realize how much I love teaching I think I'm going to be teaching design or whatever shape that takes for the rest of my life. I just love it. I think I was put on this earth to help people, whether that's teaching or otherwise. Well, there we go. We've got a little shadow there. That's not really very helpful. Sometimes it can be a bit more helpful, but that's fine. We'll have to just suck it up and do it manually. So what we're going to do is underneath the samurai, we're going to add an exposure adjustment layer. You can go curves as well, but I find this a lot easier. And we're just going to drop this down. Something like that. We'll invert it. Now, when it comes to adding brushing in shadows and things, use a nice soft brush. So this one here, with your hardness nice and low, is going to be better. And I'm not entirely sure how the shadow of this should look. If anyone's got tips, by the way, for shadows, let me know. So I'm just going to lazily try and map this out now. So we've got his foot, we've got the cloak thing, whatever this is. Not a cloak, but you know what I mean. Maybe something like that isn't too far off. And just try and map out the shape. The sun is going to be here in the middle, actually, so it's not going to be that far off to the side, so that's terrible. And then and would you get a bit of shadow from the sword as well? I don't know. Would you get like a... I'm not sure if you'd see that or not necessarily. Luminosity. No, we'll do it properly in a second. So for adding shadows like this, drop the flow down, and then we could start from scratch. Let's start from scratch. I'll show you how I do it. So we just build it up nice and slow. Yeah, maybe Dodge and Burn might do this. Honestly, there's so many ways to do the same thing in Photoshop. That's what I love. So we'll start there, and we're just gonna just gently brush this in, darker around where the foot meets the bush. In fact, actually, hang on a second, hold up. The bush is going to be in front of his foot. That shouldn't be a problem, actually. That shouldn't be a problem. I'll do that in a sec. I've got a grass brush that should work. So then as we get a bit further away, just doing this, we're just brushing it in and building it up. We've got to go round the bushes as well. So we don't want to just brush it completely flat. And some of it wouldn't be that pronounced. So maybe this bush here is kind of standing taller, so it wouldn't necessarily get hit by the shadow. And we've kind of missed a bit of his foot there as well. Don't worry, there's two parts to this as well. Obviously, it still looks weird because he's not got any shadows on his foot. So we've got the contact shadows on the surface, but then we need the shadows on him that will stitch it all together. So there's our first pass at a shadow. It's all right. It's not too bad, but you can see it does make a massive difference in cementing the character in the scene. Yeah. We could try the sword. Let's see how it looks. So I'm going to try and do a... We'll just... Whoops. Oh, there we go. We've got a quick selection of it. We'll copy that. And what did you say? We'll invert it. Is that right? Oh, it's a bit of a... Yeah, something like that. It's a little bit of a mind-bending exercise. We'll make a selection and then we'll try... Just brushing in, and then we'll kind of leave it with this bush. And then maybe we could soften those edges. I don't know. Does that look correct? Oops. It's going to be like very, very soft and subtle, isn't it? And then we can still go in and adjust all this, so we could still go and play with all this afterwards. That's why adjustment layers are so good. And something else we can do as well, actually, is we can go into the blending options. And oops, not that one. Is it one of these? Yeah, it should be that one. Oh, I don't think I've done enough. If sometimes you'll need to like blend the shadow. I think it's more if you're actually brushing in block color. If you're like brushing in a shadow in a certain color. Let's, we could try that actually. Because sometimes the shadows can look a little bit murky. So if I sample a specific color from here and brush in like a brown shadow, for example, and make it a bit darker. Yeah, we can then go into the blend if and blend it. It's pretty subtle. Normally it lets the texture blend through. Let's make it darker. Sometimes it depends on the colors under the image. I swear it's the bottom one, underlying layer. Yeah, sometimes it's just the colors that you have underneath. That's why it's good to have lots of different possible techniques that you can use, because depending on the different images and the colors, the highlights, the shadows that you're working with, sometimes they just don't work. The foot is floating, yeah, so let's come back to that. I'm hoping I've got a solution for that. So we'll add a mask to our samurai. And then we'll see if I've got a brush. I kind of need one that matches the foliage on the ground. So what about this? Let's try it. Oh, could have a winner. So we want to just keep brushing until we remove the bottom of his foot. Now, we don't want to make this look crap, so we got to do this carefully. There's a lot of cross-hatching going on as well with this brush for some reason. So we definitely don't want that. But you can see the difference. before, after. And again, we can go and refine that later. And then my shadow. Yeah, my shadow works with the grass. And that shadow still needs a bit of work. It's not like the cleanest shadow. It looks a bit murky. You could warm it up. I wonder if curves would do better. The reason curves could be a good option as well is because I can darken everything. That's the cat. We can darken everything, but then we can also change the red channel and we can adjust the color. Curves is super powerful. So I love that grass trick. It's such a good little trick. Honestly, brushes are incredible. Brushes are like incredible.
Crumbles under your desk stuff.
Wait, what? How? Where? What the hell are you doing down there, you donut? I swear that acoustics in these rooms feel weird. It sounded like he was over there. Got a cat invasion. How can we get that brush tool? Honestly, just search for free brushes online. Free Photoshop brushes. I've got loads. We'll be using them later, but they're amazing. Oh no. Oh no. We've got a slight problem. Sorry, Crumble. Let me just move the microphone to make way for your bloody ass. These headphones. You sat on the headphones. Oh, you're such an idiot. You are just such an adorable idiot. Yeah? Is that okay? Is that okay? Yeah, brushes, honestly, they are a secret weapon when it comes to Photoshop. When you get some like good cloud and fog brushes and you just go bosh, click, done, it's brilliant. But it's very easy to rely on crazy brushes. You know, we've done a grass one, but we're not even touching the other brushes until we've done this kind of fourth step effectively. Like the foundational step. Sorry, I'm trying to navigate the cat. There you go, right. You stay there. That's it. He'll go to sleep now. Look at him. He's just so adorable. Aren't you? Oh, look at him, Andrea. This is how someone asked what I'm doing in the weekdays. This is how I work a lot of the time. Just with him there. This is why my desk is so fluffy and dusty and... Yeah, they are. Our little orange cat. Okay. Yes. Shadows. Sorry, I forgot where I forgot where we were then. Yeah, this might be better. So what we're doing is just brushing the shadows. We don't have a flat surface though. This would be so much easier with a flat surface. Instead, we've got this grass down here, and then we've got these little bushes. So the shadow can't be just distributed evenly. So how the flipping heck I'm going to do this? I've got no idea. Maybe something like this. And his shadow would cover that bush because it's close, but then it wouldn't necessarily cover that one. But it would cover the grass here. Maybe some of this. So it's a slightly, you see that? It's a slightly different shadow to that. That's a straight one. Very pronounced. This one here probably needs to go a bit darker and perhaps a little bit less red. Yeah, look, see, this is cool. We can actually get in the red channel and we can bend it. Whereas with exposure, you just get the sliders. You can't muck around with color. So it's simple, but this one gives you more control. But if you're new to all this stuff, it's a little bit harder. That's the only thing to consider. So I think we'll scrap that. We'll keep curves. That is actually worked out quite nicely, and we can go back and we can make the shadow better if we need to. Now we got the shadows on the character. We've got a light source over here, but we kind of need to have a proper light source. And do I make my own sun? It's not a Dansky stream without a cat crashing the party. Exactly. Get a cat cam. Oh my goodness. Hide an orange cat in the grass. Aren't cats? Cats are part of Japanese mythology and culture and stuff. Oh my god, what about if we had a little cat like following him? That is such a good idea. Oh, I love that. I love that, Moosh. How are we gonna... like a little cat companion. I want it at the same angle though. I wonder. Hang on. I'm just going to try something. You let me know how the audio is. I'm just going to move the mic away from me. Hang on. How's that? Can you still hear me? Can you still hear me talking, or shall I crank the volume up? You can't hear me. Okay. How's that? Is that better? You let me know. We'll see if we can figure this out. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can you hear me talking? We can. Okay, cool. Right, sorry, Crumble. You're gonna have to get down. It's fine. Amazing. Okay, we'll do that then. Just because it's so much easier for me to access panels without having to navigate a flipping microphone. Right. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this character and I'm going to say add a small. What color is our cat? Orange. Is he orange? We'll say ginger. Ginger cat walking behind and alongside them. Because what I can do is generate the cat into the scene, and then I can remove the samurai. I just want the cat on its own at the right angle. Loud and clear. Nice one. Cheers, Franco. Oh, sorry. What's unacceptable? I got the cat off the desk. I know. Terrible human. Scaramouche in front of my friends. We'll see. I like the sun because it frames everything like this and it fills that space, but we'll see. If it looks stupid, then we can go and adjust all the lighting though. But I have to decide now because the sun obviously is going to be such a massive light source that it will affect everything. So before I start doing crazy shadows, I have to have my light dial down. It's not not quite what I wanted. Make the cat face the same direction as the samurai and move to the right a bit. We'll try a few. We'll have a few cracks at this, and if we can't get it, then we'll ignore it for now. Adding a cat in later is not a big problem. It's not like a fundamental thing that's going to upset the whole. What if its son was the cat's face? Well, like Teletubbies with the baby face. I like it, Franco. I think you're onto something there. You're onto a winner there, mate. Oh, Katsun. That's right. This is what I wanted. Right. So now I've got to say remove the. Oh, hang on. I've forgotten I was supposed to samurai. It's embarrassing. Remove the samurai, and now I've got the cat. We'll upscale it. And then I can adjust the angle using Photoshop's rotate object feature, which is amazing. And we can then get the cat in the right place. The cat should be sat down though. I think the cat should be sat, not walking, but we'll see. Right, we'll grab that one, and then we'll put have the cat sat down. Yeah, I think Moosh said let's put a cat in there, and I was like, yes, cat. Is that part of Japanese culture or history? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Let's just chuck it in there anyway. A ginger Siamese cat.
Yeah.
We'll just pretend that I'm the samurai and I've just taken Crumble with me to Japan or something. I don't know. We'll make up the law. We'll figure out how to make it make sense. This is one of those samurai that had a pet cat called Dojo that would always follow him around everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's that thing? Oh, sorry.
Here we go. Got a couple of cats. Might have to get rid of the collar, maybe. Well, this might look silly. I have a Persian cat, Shirazi. Yeah, I mean it's not exactly the highest quality image, but it doesn't matter. It's only going to be tiny. Is Persian cat Shirazi? Is Shirazi the name of your cat, or is that like the breed? Like, is that like the breed in Japanese? The breed, okay. I mean, this might be a bit silly. Maybe we'll come back to the cat. Oh, long hair. Okay. That's a better one. Yeah, maybe over here. So it just comes across. And I could just distort him a little bit. I got an idea. Let's try. We'll try rotate object and we'll just see what it does. Call the cat Katawashi. Yeah, go on then, why not? Katawashi it is. We'll see what this does. It might not be worth it. No, no. Right, we'll put the cat there. We'll put Katawashi there. And we'll put a pin in Katawashi. And we'll come back to him. But we're going to focus on the lighting now. So we've got the sun. Let's make that a smart object. We'll try and do blend if and see if we can get some of the clouds and bits and pieces from behind coming through. You see the difference? Wonder. Yeah, overlay, that's quite nice. And then we need a blur. The blending mode and the blend if is good because it lets a lot of the natural colors, like these clouds and things from behind, come through. We don't want to go too soft. We want to make it look like a sun. This is obviously like a very stylized thing as well. The sun is obviously not going to be massive like this. Yeah, and it's going to need some work to get it looking good. But I love how it frames the whole thing. I really do like it. Hey, Care. Before we charge too far ahead, actually, let's... I do actually have some images of a sunset like this. Let's just see how it looks. No, I don't like that. This is much better. What about the color? Hmm. Anyway, we'll leave the sun there for now. What's this? We'll call that Samurai Shadows. Whether we have the sun or not's irrelevant because the light is coming from the front. So we're going to go to Samurai. Got our color balance there. We're now going to go exposure. Clip this to the Samurai. Make him darker. Can actually go pretty dark with this. Just check the exposure's not buggered up. So we might need to adjust the gamma there. Or crumble. He's back. The image blend method for the Samurai. What, the exposure one just now, or honestly not a lot. The color was color balance. So that's the original Samurai color balance. We've then got the foot with the grass brush. The shadows are one of the biggest things because they then connect the Samurai to the floor, the surface in the scene. And then we've got the exposure one, which darkens everything. But then we're going to go round now and we're just going to brush away some of this. So the light is not hitting the back of him. But if we go here, you can see it's going to hit the toes. Crumble's literally on the flipping pen display. Get your flipping head out the way, you donut. So parts of here, the underside is going to get some of that light coming through. Down here. You see the difference? Before and then after. So we're just going round here. And just brushing away wherever that light is going to catch. Parts of the fingers here. It's coming around here. This part of the sword. And this part of the sword as well. Side of the armor. We're going soft at first. Definitely down the sword. So we'll just brush it softly now. And then we'll do like a glint on the sword after. If anyone does want to learn all this stuff with me, by the way, I've got my Photoshop courses pinned in the chat. The beginner one's like an introduction, first class, but the master class goes into like all this stuff, all these techniques that I'm using. They are all covered. So if you like this kind of digital artwork and you want to learn it, it's not as hard as you think. It's just using the right tools and techniques and then practicing with those. Yeah, so we've got the armor here. So the light is going to be sort of spilling over a little bit. Coming around the corner. So before, after. And we're not brushing everything flat as well. Look at this kind of bit of strand of cloth here. You see how it's kind of down here and then it goes up? We have to brush our lighting in according to that as well. Otherwise, if we just kind of do this, and just do it flat, it won't make sense. Got a top. And then we got the antlers. We do know that you're right, there is a cat. There may be a cat. There's the cat. But we also have an actual cat. I mean that cat does look like a leaned down version of Crumble, to be fair. No offense, Crumble. He's looking at me. He's like, what do you mean I'm not lean? What are you talking about, Dan? I'm as lean as they come. Yeah, all right, Crumble. You tell yourself that. Me too. So we're just brushing in the lights here from the sun, using the flow value really low. That's another little secret. Didn't do that for years. Ignore opacity. Use flow. Nice soft brush. Flip in secret weapon. I'm using a pen display as well, but graphics tablet pen display. I would say you don't have to, but if you like doing this sort of stuff, it's worth investing in one. All right, what else we got? Bit more here. Yeah, let's brush this in. Yeah, you see the difference that makes? It's subtle, but these little things, they do add up. And I'm doing this very quickly as well, like a first pass. You just got to think about it in terms of more of a three-dimensional mindset. Like, where would the light actually reach? Right here. It's going to catch his thumb, isn't it? It's going to catch. And then his fingers just sort of resting at his side. It's going to catch there as well. Then this finger. And this is where I used to go wrong as well. Like I just said, I would do this. I just brush it all. And you don't want to do that. No blanket brushing here. It's faster, but it's not going to yield as good a result. And then we've got this bit. Going up here. You see the difference here? It's super subtle, but it honestly makes such a massive difference. So, before highlights, after highlights. Now we could go, that's the exposure. We could go another step as well. We're going to add a solid color. We're going to pick a color from the sun, something similar. This is where we will try blending modes now. Overlay or hard light can be a good one. I'm thinking we'll try overlay first. We'll try this and we'll warm it up. Obviously that's way too punchy. Oh, thank you, Andrea. And then we'll go through now. And we'll just warm some of this up. I'm just going to very quickly go around and just brush this in down the edges. You can do it as the first as well. You don't have to do exposure. You could dive straight into adding those warmer highlights. One thing that is quite good, that I don't want to like encourage laziness. But you can go blend if as well. And it helps blend it onto the layer underneath. So before, after, and it just makes it feel a bit more subtle. And there's another one that's really going to ground the character as well. Do we do that? No, we do that at the top. So again, we're going to grab the same adjustment layer. It's kind of cool. Right, sorry, I've got to move you, Crumble. I know, I'm a terrible person. I know. I can have proper cuddles later. Daddy's got work to do. Right. So this one, you want to use your trackpad for this. Flow at 10%. We're going to start. This could be anywhere, really. Could start here. We're just going to click and then let's make it a bit higher value. Sorry, we don't want any of these blending options. We want to go a bit lighter as well. So we're just going to start and we're going to click, click, click. That's probably a bit too much. Maybe we should go for like 10 on the flow. Like through the gaps here. This can be a really cool way to just blend the subject with the light as well. You could try and muck around with some blending options as well, but I think the color actually has a bit more impact. Yeah, there you go. Slightly warmer. With, out, and with. It can be quite a nice touch to have that light sort of spilling over. Right, how am I going to get this really cool effect? The glint on the sword. Right. So we'll put these at the top. These are the effects. They always sit at the top of the layer stack. So we're going to go and grab white, soft brush. We'll go for 100. Then we can distort this. See if we can get this looking good. Position it right on the edge of the sword, and then we can warp it, stretch it into position. There we go. Sword glint. You see the difference it makes? Yeah, super cool. I kind of want the blade to look a bit shinier as well. It looks a bit dull at the minute. So let's go and do brightness and contrast, see if we can get a quick win here. Does that work? Yeah, a little bit. Fits with the glint as well, having it just a bit brighter. And the character as well. I kind of want to have it... Oh, I kind of want it to be like grayscale, but with hints of colour. Maybe I should get rid of the sun. Add the cat back in. That still works, just a bit more subtle. And let's do the exposure checker again. Samurai might need to come up a little bit. Since I added that exposure adjustment layer, he's now quite dark. Maybe we just bump the gamma up. Yeah, that's a bit better. So we're just making lots of tweaks as we go, really. We could actually warm him up even more. Switch to shadows. How would we determine what bits to keep red? Do we do this and then brush in red on the armor? Or do we keep... Oh, do we turn the trees red? How the hell do we do that? Or do we have other things in the scene that are red? This is the reference image that I'm thinking of. I'm trying to mimic this. The colors from this. Because what is that? Smoke or clouds? Yeah, maybe parts of the samurai's armor could be red. Maybe some of these material bits. Let's try and change the color. We'll do a colorize. We'll make it this sort of color. Almost strip out the color, not fully black and white. Something like that. And then we want red. Let's see how this looks. It might look awful. Try. Oh, God, he's back. He's back. Dude, you just either can't or won't take the hint, will you? Cat is such a baby. So we'll just brush one of these little tassel things in, and we will see if we can get the color looking good. You want it sort of dark but desaturated. I wonder if we can adjust the blending mode. Just get a slightly more realistic blend. What do you think to the style? It's a bit different from what I normally do as well, and I do love that sort of... I do love kind of when you have something that's just black and white and it's got like a splash of color, or a design that's like monotone and then there's just this pop of color in there. It's just a bit different. Could look pretty cool. Just figuring out which bits. I think if I've got to effectively try and do the armor and make it look good. So if I were to go through and color in and decorate all of the armor with everything else black and white, I think it would look absolutely insane. I just kind of want to figure that out before spending loads of time doing it. So we're just using layer masks here. All this stuff, layer masks and everything, is covered in the beginner Photoshop course. Once you start using them, you will never use the erase tool again. They're amazing. Nice. Just got to make sure we only get the material. Basically, this is like coloring as a child. I'm being tested now. My ability to color in. And then the blending mode in the blend if, that blends the shadows and highlights from the layer underneath into the whole thing. Could do this a bit easier actually. We could just make a selection of the samurai. There we go. Let's go and save some time. Much better. What about this part of the armor here? Might make my brush a bit harder actually. Just so we don't get too much of a soft, fluffy edge. I mean, at the end of the day, even if we don't use this, at least then I've kind of customized the armor, and I could keep the customizations and change the color of the armor in the main composition with all the color and sunsets and things. But I think this black and white thing will look pretty cool. Any other little bits? Material. Obviously, it's an AI generated samurai as well, so just got to be mindful of any oddities and things that don't make sense. How does it look without the... I mean, yeah, it looks pretty cool. The thing is as well, like I said, we can change the color. We can literally customize all this now. So whether we go black and white or not, it will look really cool. Yeah, on one hand, it's a shame to lose the lighting because it does look so impactful, unless... I mean, that looks... Oh, I just love it with that shape. Unless we duplicate that, move it to the top, and we then have some color in there as well. Maybe linear light. And let me select the samurai and just make sure that that is removed. Just one of those things. Sometimes, you know, the creative process just sort of twists and turns a bit, and you don't really know where it's going to go. Oh, thank you. You prefer the color version? Yeah, it's true. I mean, actually, we could even do both, because if it's just color and nothing else changes, yeah, we could probably like work on the color version. I mean, it's pretty lush, isn't it? Those colors are pretty lush. You could do that version and then just flick on a layer, and suddenly you get the stylized version. Yeah, so maybe that'll be one that I pursue after. It's hard, isn't it? This is what I would normally do. I would go for like something realistic, but I'd love to do a stylized version. But let's what I'll do is I'll park the stylized one. Maybe that's one I'll carry on in my own time with. And for the main one, I'll keep what I've done already, because now I can change the color of his armor to whatever, really. And just add a little bit more life and vibrancy, blend it into the scene a bit more. Isn't it? No, the sun's not in the water yet. It's the only thing that could be tricky. I'm going to try something actually. Like, sorry, cat, you're going to have to go. I know, I love you. I'm sorry. Let's try something for the water. I'm hoping it works because I haven't got a plan B. So we need to make we need a selection of the water. And we're going to go into the mountains. No, that's not going to work. Let's try this. This will make sense in a minute. So I need to make a selection. Of just the water. Which it is struggling with a little bit. Oh, there we go. Maybe sample all layers. That's a bit better. Yeah. Doesn't need to be perfect. It's just that we get all the water in. And then we want to go and make that selection on this layer here. Right, Flaming Pear. This is a cool plugin. Hopefully I've done this correctly. This might not hit the right angle. That's kind of what I want. And you get the sun in the water as well. So you can tinker around with all of that. And then have I done that right? Where's our grass? We've got our new water back in. This reflects what's in the scene, the colours, the sun. Yeah, I might have to just blend that a little bit. Water reflection. Yeah, that's called Flood 2 is the plugin. It's paid, but you get a pretty decent trial with it. And then it's by Flaming Pear. It's great for this sort of stuff. It will make you want to put water in your scene because you'll do like a design, you'll have lights and things in it, and you'll be like, what if there was water? This would look sick with water, and you get the lights reflecting. And I mean, yeah, look at the difference there. It doesn't make sense there, and that's fine. It's fine. And once we stick our samurai back in front of it, it just looks, excuse my French, fucking awesome. And I think the sky, I want to take some of the color out of the sky. You've got like this bluish color. What's the best way to do that? There's so many different ways to do the same thing. It is sometimes just a case of like, what's going to look best? I don't know, they just look a bit weird. Oh, been harassed by a fly. Yeah, it's looking pretty cool. One thing we haven't done is added. I got a bit excited and jumped ahead a bit. We haven't actually added shadows to the mountain. I'm very naughty. Darken these down. Invert. Again, we're going to grab that sexy soft brush. Obviously, the lighting here is completely flat, so we need to darken a lot of this where the light isn't quite reaching. And this can help make things feel a bit more rounded as well. Give them a little bit more depth. Before and after. Oops. There we go. Maybe down here. In some of these cracks. Don't worry if you don't get this right first time. Like, you see, just brushing along the waterline here can help blend things as well. Let's hide the samurai. Just by like adding like little shadows down here, it makes certain parts look a bit more like raised up. So instead of looking flat, things just have like a little bit more depth. And then this one here is a bit raised, so it might cast a bit of a shadow around here. And you will typically go in a bit heavy-handed with this, like I still do it now, especially when I'm sort of just speed running it. I'll put too much out of shadows in, and maybe this one's a bit big, so you want it to kind of have a softer fall off. But then this is the before and after. Everything just flat, and then a bit of depth and shadows added. I wonder if we could do it in the foreground as well. Yeah, because there's not a lot of highlights on the grass, so I wonder if we add some highlights. Makes a huge difference. Was that the reflection or the shadows, or I mean maybe both? It all sort of makes a difference in the end. There's one thing I'll show you in a minute that does make a difference. That when I forget it, I add it in and I'm like, oh, that's what it was missing. So we've got curves. So what do we want now? Let's do another curves. Maybe we'll darken some bits down and we'll throw these up. Right, no, come on. Flipping cat's back. Don't look at me like that. You can't get down now, can you? He's crept up around the PlayStation, but he doesn't have a reverse button. Oh, sausage. You're just so pathetically lovable. You just don't understand, do you? That it's not that I'm rejecting you. I'm just busy. Such a baby. Right, we'll try beefing up the contrast here. We'll invert that. And actually, maybe I'm going to apply a quick pass of that, but then maybe some more around here. Certain parts where the sun catches. Yeah, use my exposure checker to check I've not buggered it up. Yeah, that's better. So you can see a lot of what I'm actually doing. It's not like compositing like 20 different images. It's just doing a few images, but doing the little details really well. He is just a baby, Andrew, you're right. This attention to detail is so important. I always say, like, do it for 2 images or 3 images. There's no point compositing 10 or 20 images if you can't do 2 or 3. And, like, just practice those steps. Once you get better at the kind of core steps, and you can do it with 2, you can do it with 10, and then you can do whatever. Right, now we need atmosphere. So normally I'd do this at the top, but because the samurai's in the foreground, the atmosphere needs to be underneath the samurai layer. So we're going to do it here. I'm going to pick a color. Now you can do this with the default brush. Set it low and just brush in loads of atmosphere. I like a good cloud brush because it just makes it a bit more realistic. And I do have a good one, and I've forgotten where it is. It's one of these. It's one of these cloud brushes that changes shape. It's not that one. It kind of like randomizes the clouds. That's it. I want to jazz those ones. No, but this might work. So we'll drop the flow to like 5%. And we're just gonna just brush in a bit of fog and atmosphere and brush some places a little bit more than others, and it will make it feel more random rather than uniform. And then we can go and might want to change the color. Yeah, maybe warm it up. You can actually just go through and you can go to the extreme with this. You see it makes everything look super foggy. But just, I wouldn't go too mad. It can make everything look, it can make things look terrible as well. So we'll duplicate that and we'll park that one for now. That's fine. I've actually got some, is it fog brushes? I've actually got some fog brushes, some like stamps. I feel like I'm being surrounded by cats. Ooh, maybe one of these. You just stamp and there you go. Oh, look at that. That's actually pretty cool. So you can find the point that you want to stamp it and just click. Oh, flipping out. That is good. I might actually just run with that. God, it's just flipping sexy. Sexy fog. And then obviously we go and fine tune the color. You want it to sort of match the lighting and the background. Have it sort of make sense. Do we do a blending mode? Maybe. Will it look better? You can always drop it down a bit if it's a bit too much. So there we go. If we go 75 before and after. Makes a pretty cool difference. Maybe I'll go 50%. Yeah, it's pretty wild, some of these brushes. And then one thing I might do as well is possibly just have some fog above the samurai. Even though the fog's off in the distance, it just, when you add that sort of atmosphere, it can help everything just blend together a bit more. So I'm just gonna maybe I'll grab a cloud brush actually. Let's just grab one of these fog brushes. There you go. See the difference? So you got the, that's how it was before, and then when you add the fog, it just adds that atmosphere. Then just rebalancing. Sometimes it is just a case of rebalancing all the layers once you've got everything in. Little cat as well. And then we could go back to the samurai. We've got the exposure. We could still go and play with that. We could even darken it. Do you know what I mean? You could make it even ever so slightly more dramatic. Right, so we'll call this backup. I'm just going to put all that stuff down there. Why have I got another sun? Oh, that's from the stylized thing, isn't it? So we'll put all that in there. That is the kind of stylized version that we'll come back to. The other reference, we'll put that in there as well. Don't need the background anymore. Samurai, and then what else have we got? Fog. So we're just cleaning up all of our layers. We'll put the I'll put the cat in there for now. We might come back to that. Exposure checker. But now let's just go and copy everything merged. We'll paste. And we're just good. This is like jumping ahead a bit, but I do like setting this up because it's just really cool. In fact, before we do that, let's just try a few LUT profiles. I don't honestly use plugins. For a lot of stuff, I don't use plugins for Illustrator and Photoshop. There's maybe one or two in Illustrator. My latest YouTube video has got a great one for guides for design, Gridcraft plugin by Anish. It's just absolutely out of this world. It's free to download. That's Photoshop and Illustrator. But yeah, no, maybe I should use more plugins. I see a lot of people in Photoshop that I feel like they have a banana plugin. But I don't know what it is. Oh, look at that. Oh, that is flipping nice. That's why I love these color profiles, because they can spark inspiration. This one here, Drop Blues, is quite nice. Yeah, so worth playing around with. Good for inspiration. Something else that would be really fun would be to do like a night version. You could easily turn this into a night scene and then turn the sun into a moon quite easily. But anyway, camera raw filter. There's a few settings in here that are just great for the final result. They're like the icing on the cake. You can obviously go and muck around with all of the color settings in here. That's fine. Personally, I try not to. I want to do all of this stuff in the main document. Just because otherwise, if I then work on my design and update it, and I change colors in my main design, all the color changes in this will then get updated as well, and you can end up with weird results. So for this, what I like to do is just stick to...
Night night, Daddy. Night night, YouTube.
Night night, sausage.
Oh, there's a cat there.
See you tomorrow. I know, he just won't leave me alone. Is texture and clarity. These can be really nice, but just bringing out a bit of
Yeah. Thank you.
detail. If it's like a nighttime scene or something where you'd get grain from the camera, I like a little bit of noise. So sunset, yeah, we're going to add a bit of grain, bit of noise in there. Dehaze. This can be quite useful. But again, I like to keep all that stuff to the main document. So this is the before and after at the minute. I'm just going to drop the clarity. It depends what you're working on. Sometimes cranking these up to 100 gives you like an incredible result. Other times it looks awful. Sharpening. This is another good one. You see the difference there? So before and after. It kind of depends what look you're going for, but I love this. This is like what I finish all of my artwork with. There's fog all over the character. It might feel a bit top heavy, and that's something I can go and work on. The thing is as well, like the way these streams always go is I'll get this to a point like this and then stop, and then when I come back to it a few hours later, I'll look at it and go, what on earth was I doing? I've completely missed that. That's awful. The shadow might be terrible. So that break from it as well, and then coming back to it, it lets you see it with fresh eyes, and you might see things you didn't see before. All right, I think maybe we add some depth of field as well that I've not really factored in. So the grass is fine, it's in the foreground, but the mountains... How am I going to do this? Do I want to do this? Let's just see how it looks first. It might not be worth it, so I was just going to add this in here. So you get like a gradual blur as you go further into the distance. So something like this. Then we can dial it down. And then that puts the samurai in focus a lot more, blurs everything else out. That's probably what I'd end up going with, actually, I think. because it just. What do you think? Blur or no blur? It makes it much more dramatic and puts the focus on the samurai. I've obviously just added it very quickly now. We would need to do a better job. Oh, it does look cool. You like the blur? You like this one? Pops, are you doing steaks?
I'm not really hungry. Why don't you have some steaks tomorrow? Tomorrow.
Well, I've had today's egg on toast the entire day
I don't believe that.
and a smoothie.
There you liar.
Opinion? Come on! Come on!
Make it if we go first class.
Guess I'm going hungry then.
A minute.
Yeah, I think you're right about that layer. So, okay, how do I do this properly? Let's duplicate all these layers in case I bugger it up. We'll convert to a smart object. The only thing with the reflection is if you were to go and radically change something up here, you'd need to then update the reflection. And you can't do smart objects with it, unfortunately. So we've got mountains. I think I'll do these separately, actually. I got a plan. So we'll blur gallery. No, not that. Oops. We'll blur gallery. Yeah, so we'll crank this up. We'll use this to get the positioning right. So we want Monsieur Samurai in focus. I don't know why he's a French samurai all of a sudden. We'll drop this down. So yeah, the blur happens here. Do we want to drag it a bit more? Yeah, maybe. Going to make it super dramatic. And then on the grass layer, which is this big mound in the foreground. Ooh, good rhyme down. We then need to go and add another one. If you have your landscape like all on one layer, you could just apply it to the whole thing. But I like the separation at the minute and it just gets really complicated otherwise. So yeah, what we're going to do. It goes a bit weird on the edge here. It's the only annoying thing. Oh, goodness. Okay, layers get a bit complicated. So maybe we go into the mountains, and to make everything be affected by the blur layer, we might have to take the grass and move that inside there. No, that doesn't work, does it? Okay. This sort of thing just comes with experience. It's a bit of layer management shenanigans to try and get the right effect. So we'll move the grass down here, and then we'll smart object the whole lot to apply the blur. Then we'll call it mountains and grass. There we go. Right, so we'll bring that nice and close. Let's try that. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. Pretty dramatic. And then what have we got? The grass here. Maybe this edge. This bendy, warped grass that we've made. Maybe we just take the hardness up and then we'll run along the edge. Try and soften it, and that's going to help with the blur as well. So we're just going to run along this edge here. Maybe a bit softer. Normally I wouldn't make it soft, but because I know I'm going to blur it anyway, it's fine. We're just getting rid of that highlight thing around the edge. Yeah. The only problem is we've got the reflection underneath. I've done that a bit wrong, haven't I? Let's get rid of that. Something like that. And then maybe the reflection. Right, so we might have to do the reflection again. Let's just bump the water level up slightly. And then we've got the layer mask there. Although we're going to need a new layer mask because we've just brushed away some of that bit at the bottom. We've just got to remake the water selection again. Let's just make sure we do get it all. I want to capture more than not enough. You're right to take it out of the fridge, Pops, then I'll just cook it.
No, I'll cook it.
It's alright, I don't mind. Alright. Let's do that. We'll just fill that with a colour for now so we can make that selection whenever we need. Oh, it's got a little bit less sun in it though. That's fine. We'll just have another crack at the reflection. Let's make it a bit higher. Nice. All right, hopefully this works. Yeah, that looks a little bit better now. And then we just copy merged everything and we drop a new version in here. So I like to number these because you can see the progression. There's the before, and then with the dramatic blur, definitely makes a difference, doesn't it? Nice bit of drama in there. And then we just save that. And then the smart object gets updated with those changes. Yeah, there's still a few things I think I'd probably change. I want to play around with that version a bit more. But yeah, as a first pass, I think this has turned out pretty well. Maybe the grass. Maybe I could bring some of the green back into the grass. Not that much green. Let's try the hue saturation thing again, because that did keep a little bit of the green. And I think in hindsight it might match better because you've got the green from the trees in the distance. And I feel like it might blend the two images a bit better rather than having that grass just being completely orange. Yeah, there you go. It feels a little bit more grounded in the same environment. So then again, remember, just copy the design, paste it in here, and so you just get to see the progression. It's nice. Sometimes you can end up with 10, 20 layers in here. Oh, yeah, that turned out pretty well, actually. I think that was a pretty straightforward one. You could go and edit it more and make it a bit more dramatic and whatever. But yeah, does anyone have any questions before I jump off? I think that one turned out pretty well. I think the only thing I love it in the color. I think the color needs more like something. I'd love to do something with the color, maybe. And the cat's back again. If you come say goodbye. Oh, thank you, Andrea. Yeah, I think hopefully this has sort of helped with. I mean, this is 2 hours. Normally, my sort of proper ones, they end up taking 5 or 6. But they have more images and a lot more work involved. I think this sort of stuff, like I said, is a really good example of like what images did we have? We had the background, the grass in the foreground, and the samurai. that was literally 3 images. And so what it does is it's good practice to try and get those 3 images looking good together. Yeah, the glints on the sword, it's a bit subtle. I might do a bit more of like a kind of ping so you can see it. But so it looks a bit more like a proper shiny glint that stands out for sure. But when you've got fewer images, it really puts the onus on you to do the retouching, the shadows, the highlights, all that stuff really well. And it's worth practicing with fewer images as well, because once you can do it with like 2 images or 3, you can do it with 10. But yeah, it's always fun practice as well. Take an environment, take a person or an object, drop it in there, make the thing or make the person look like they belong in the environment. Really good exercise. And then once you get confident doing that, then you can start experimenting with maybe a nighttime scene. So this with nighttime, space, underwater, that's pretty challenging and fun. Yeah, you can do things more surreal, dreams and nightmares and whatever. Yeah, you can try winter, summer, desert scenes. And the more you do those different varieties, the more like you might have a tool or technique that works. And then you're like, oh, crap, it doesn't work for this one. And then you have to try and figure out another way of doing it. And like I've done a few nighttime ones now. A lot of these are live on the channel, by the way. They're still live. And once you've done a few, it definitely gets a lot easier. Ah, you're very welcome. What do you think the best way to practice the lighting work, shadows and lighting is? Literally, it does take practice, but I'll just, before we go, I'll just show you how I do it. So always use this default brush here. This one is the best brush in the world. You can use it for literally, I use it for like 90% of stuff, apart from any of those like crazy effects you saw earlier. This brush is amazing. If you have like very reflective surfaces like metal, crank your hardness up so you get more of a defined highlight. Softer surfaces, matte surfaces, cloth material, bring it down so it's nice and soft. And it's just a case of, I mean, you can pick your adjustment layer, exposure, you can drop it down and add shadows, you can smash it up and add highlights. So if I just invert it here, oops. You've then got that brush. This is the secret weapon, the flow value. Never go in at 100% because if you start brushing in highlights like this, it's way too strong. So that's something that takes a little bit of practice, like getting used to that. I always would suggest dropping it down, because then what you get to do is slowly build it up. So like this, you see here, I can just slowly build it up. So I just get to do like a few passes. Okay, not enough. Let's do a bit more there. Maybe a smaller brush and we'll kind of highlight some of these bits. Maybe I want to zoom in and just kind of highlight this edge here. I'm doing this in like a very exaggerated way now. Maybe there, maybe down this side. So obviously you can see this is quite exaggerated. Maybe I should do it. Maybe it looks cool. Maybe this sort of thin strip here, that metal, if it is metal, I'm not actually sure. I'd assume. Maybe that would benefit from having like a little bit more of like a shiny reflectiveness to it. But the different materials, they do matter. So obviously the antlers are going to be wood, so they wouldn't reflect in the same way. The helmet, if assuming it's metal, maybe that would have like a bit more of a, where's my selection gone? A little bit more of like a highlight here on top. Or maybe it would just come down. So these bits, and you could make these a bit more pronounced. Maybe a bit more up here. And the shadows and the highlights, they are the same thing. They are honestly the same thing. So let's say we scrap that and we go back to shadows. Drop it down. Get selection. This is the thing is with this as well. At least you know that this is the technique. That's one thing that used to drive me nuts, is when I would just scour tutorials everywhere, like, oh, what is the right technique? At least when you know you're doing the right technique, you know that the problem's just you, and you just have to practice. There's no way around it. That's how I think about it anyway. So like when I was trying to get my shadows and highlights better over the last few years, like I found some really good techniques, and these are a lot of the ones I use. At least I knew the technique was the right one, and I just had to practice. So like here, you can go and brush in shadows. You can darken certain areas, maybe under the helmet, maybe down the back. Some of this isn't gonna catch any light, maybe down here particularly. And just do it nice and slowly with the flow value low as well. And yeah, I'm definitely aware that I think I make it look easy on these streams now, but that is because I've just been doing it quite a lot over and over again. It helps having a graphics tablet or pen display as well, because you can control the pen pressure, and that and just brushing it in is so much easier. Even if you can get yourself just a small graphics tablet, having a stylus and being able to control the pressure it makes a massive difference. But yeah, it's just practice. That's why I love this stuff. I teach a lot of this as well. I teach the tools and techniques in my Photoshop courses, the beginner and the advanced one. And then once you know that, it's just practice. But the good news is it's not as hard as you think. It isn't, because I've done it. And I've gone through the shit, and now it's like, oh, this is actually technically quite easy. The biggest thing is just practicing it, getting used to it, and then being able to look at something and go, oh, okay, I need to add a shadow here, maybe a highlight here. And it just helps when you think about your piece in more of a 3D context. So these are a bunch of images that I've just chucked together. But actually the lighting on the samurai does not account for the giant sun. So I've got to then add the shadows, I've got to add the highlights. The shadow that he casts onto the grass, I've got to add that in. And so you have to think about it all in a three-dimensional sense. I'm covered in cat hair now. And how one object you add in might cast a shadow on another thing that might reflect the light of something else. So, but it's all good. It's all good fun. Hey, no worries. No worries. Right, I'm going to go and eat some food because I'm really hungry. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. This has been an absolute blast. I loved it. Love. And yeah, have an amazing weekend. And probably see you in the Discord. Thank you very much. See you later, guys. Bye.